bonjour. This is very exciting, no? Finally, a football podcast talks some sense, yes? That is if they don't talk about me, no? Let me just say this. If you are looking for a politically correct football podcast, keep looking. Grab a squad number and I will decide if you make the team or not.
Hi, and welcome to the third episode of Highbury Heels. If you haven't listened to us before, I'm Seema, and with me today are my Highbury Heels squad, Sophia, Amanda, and Sophie. Hey girls, how are y'all doing?
Whoop-de-woo!
And we're back.
Very well, thank you. Hi, Seema.
Hi, Seema.
Hey, Seema. I'm just coming out of a food coma. It's been Thanksgiving here, so I'm, just barely fitting into my pants, but as you were.
Jealous.
You jealous that I can't fit into my pants?
Yeah, because I've been on a diet for 4 weeks now.
What?
So
Why do you need to go on a diet?
But
please.
I can't fit into my pants for all the wrong reasons.
All right. So today the girls and I will be talking about our last two games and some of our social media questions answered. And we always like to have a little bit of fun at the end. So keep listening to the end and join in by tweeting, Facebooking, and Instagramming us. Our Twitter handle is Highbury Heels. Our Facebook and Instagram are Highbury and Heels. So we had two away games last week. Cologne, where we lost 1-0, and Burnley, where we won 1-0. I think I'm fortunate enough to not have watched the Cologne game.
You certainly were.
I'll leave you guys to talk about it. So what did you guys think about the game? Considering we made it through already and we were already expecting what we're expecting out of the game.
I wasn't expecting much, to be honest with you. I thought that the purpose of this game was to give periphery players the opportunity to come into the squad and show some sense of ownership, and show that they're ready to be called upon. And to me, the result I didn't care that we lost. We were through to the next round. Some people want to kill us sometimes for being too, when Wenger doesn't play it safe, like unnecessarily taking risks on players or trying to go for the win. And here he is doing the right thing, rotating in Europa League again. And I felt like the players that came in really didn't take the opportunity. Sophia, I don't know about you, but for me, I was so disappointed with most of them, other than maybe Maitland-Niles. I thought that he had probably the best game, had a really shining moment. But when you're given a chance to come in and try and disrupt the team by showing that you should be in the first team, I thought it was really awful to watch.
Yeah, I have to agree. The thing that worries me is for this season, we haven't actually had any major injuries. So we've not really had to delve into the bench or, the second string. But if we did suddenly get one, who will we bring on? Even Giroud, who I do like, I thought he was unconvincing. Watching Jack Wilshere is utterly depressing. I mean, he was trying too hard. But he doesn't create anything. He's 25 years old now and should be at the peak of his powers. But to me, like Theo, he seems to be going backwards. I can actually forgive Iwobi, Reece Nelson, and Nketiah because they're all still young and developing. But what was Jack's excuse? He did nothing. And the fact that the best thing about that game was Coquelin hitting the bar says all you need to know about how Cologne was. It was terrible.
I agree with you about the injuries. This is going to be a huge concern as we go deep into the season. We're going to be involved in all competitions and are so far. And that is my biggest fear. And I think, yes, again, the result didn't matter, but the performance from these players did. And I think that's something that Wenger needs to work on. Otherwise, if those injuries do come to key players, we're going to be in trouble.
Well, I only watched the first half because I had to go out. But during the first half, Ian Wright tweeted Sophia and me. We ended up having such a laugh. It was much more better than watching that bloody rubbish, to be honest. And I didn't even see the second half. I heard about it. But
What was Righty saying, Amanda? What was he saying?
Well, he haven't really. I was actually just like getting my popcorn to watch Sophia and Righty have a little dig at each other because they know each other, and it was actually very funny. There was a lot of chat about her hair. And her attitude. I don't know what she's talking about.
I saw a lot of gifs as well.
Yeah, and there were a lot of gifts and stuff like that. But that was the most interesting part of the game for me.
Well, the thing was, he basically came on and said, "You've not asked me on because you're racist," and about our podcast. Do you remember that was the first thing he said? And I was like, don't even let me start, Mr. Right, because you know we all want you to come on. And it just went from there. And because he's like me, he's got Jamaican parents, he just started going into my patois and he was giving it back. And Amanda was just going, I'm just going to sit and watch and enjoy, and where's my popcorn? It was so funny. And it was so much funnier than that.
And it was weird that he said about the racist bit, because I'm sitting there going,
that's brilliant.
But Sophia's black. What's he going on about? And then I realised it was obviously an in-joke.
Yeah, we do.
I'm like, if people read this, they're going to think I'm racist. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. You know what people are like.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we made it clear that it was an in-joke, and that, you know, that's because we always say to each other, you're so racist. It's like a thing we have. And because we're both black, we think it's hilarious. I know, we think it's hilarious, but
it's actually quite funny when you think about it.
It is. It's very, very funny.
So I guess it's safe to say we can move on from Cologne. It wasn't very eventful. Before we do, we all know Amanda was at Anfield 89 behind the goal.
No.
It's her all-time favorite moment.
I don't think anyone knows, actually.
Shut the front door.
I think we really need to dedicate 89 seconds for you to rant about whatever you want.
Ready, steady, rant.
Right, listen to me. And I'm telling everybody out here, this is what I hate about modern football. Bloody kits changing colours. We walked onto that pitch in blue and white. We do not play in blue and white. I'm sorry. That is against everything that we believe in. When I turned the TV on, I thought, who are we? Blue and white? No, I don't like the black and pink. We are red and white, yellow and blue. End of. You know, every year we have to bring out 3 new kits, where it used to be every other year the kit was changed. So you'd have the away kit, 1 year, the home kit another year. But no, because it's all money marketing, right? We've now got to change colours. I'm sorry, but I was absolutely disgusted watching us in blue and white. I felt ill. I thought, what has our club come to? That we're parading on a pitch in Tottenham colours, City colours. No, red and white. And if you can't play in red and white, you play in yellow and blue. And if you can't play in that, you play in yellow and white. I'm sorry, I'm so angry about it. I ranted about it during the game because there was not much else to rant about. Well, to praise about. And so many people agreed with me, although a lot of people like the black and pink. I don't mind the kit.
Oh, no.
Rant over.
I need 189 seconds.
I don't know if my maths is good. I think that was 89 seconds. Oh, and by the way, I found the cowbell during that whole segment.
Yeah, by the way, where did that come from?
Perfect.
That was brilliant. So I'm going to say that I'm one of those people that actually like the black and pink.
Me too.
And I would much rather have us played in that, because watching it in the Burnley game, I thought it looked amazing. But I must admit, I hated that blue. I don't even know why we're not sky blue team. It's just weird. But anyway, I must admit, Amanda, I agree with you on that, but not on the black and pink. I love the black and pink.
I love the black
kit. It's a lovely kit, but we're not black and pink. That's all I'm saying. We look nice in it, but we're not black and pink.
We're sexy in the black and pink. We look really hot. There's something really dynamic about it, and I think the players feel it when they put it on as well. But I 100% agree with Amanda on the blue. It's almost like there was a bastard stepchild of Manchester City and Tottenham, and it was our new away kit. That blue, fucking blue and nonsense. Amanda, round of applause for that rant, because I am great.
Don't sound so shocked. That's only rant number 1. Wait till next week.
Okay, so we definitely need to move away from the blue and white. We know how Burnley went. We had 90 minutes where we were unable to do anything, and then Alexis Sanchez's penalty gave us hope in the last minute, and we got the win. It wasn't the easiest game to watch, but the last-minute goal always helps. It actually feels so good to have last-minute goals, although I hate them throughout the whole game. So what did you guys think made the difference in the game yesterday, considering Ozil was not there?
Well, I mean, definitely not having Ozil was huge. I think that we certainly missed him as the game went on. The first half was unwatchable almost. It was so boring. And I have to say a lot of the games this year have been really boring. Not our games in general, the Premier League. I think City is setting the Premier League on fire, and then everybody else is kind of average right now. But the second half, I think we played much, much better. We were more cohesive in midfield. We connected the dots a little bit more between, the defence and the midfield. Felt like Alexis Sanchez grew into the game. And I thought that we deserved to win. And I thought that was a penalty. And I don't understand what all the fuss is about.
This is a public service announcement. Listenership is highly advised. In order to protect his identity and the potential abuse from the Gooner Nation and Premier League fans at large, we cannot reveal the referee's name, blood type, or general location. Public service announcement end.
Referee, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to start off right away by saying, Ramsey, yesterday, penalty or no penalty?
For me, it's a penalty. It's a brave decision in terms of obviously the time involved in the game. Not that that should make a difference to the decision, but it does. Your referees are human beings. So he has to be 100% certain that the infringement is enough to warrant a penalty. For me, there was two hands in the back of Aaron Ramsey. It was enough to put him off balance. The fact that I've seen people say today that he was dramatic in his fall, that doesn't actually matter. The referee has to take into consideration whether the push was enough to warrant giving a penalty. Is it enough? There's a balance. And in my opinion, as a referee, I would have given that penalty. And I would have been certain in my own mind that was the correct decision. As I said, it's a brave decision in the context of the game. And as I said before, people will say that shouldn't matter, but it does. Referees will think about that in that instance because it's a game changer. It wins the game for one of the sides away from home as well. So it's everything pulled into one. I thought it was a very good and very brave decision. So,
we were given that penalty, but then we were denied one earlier in the game when Bellerin was taken out. Would you have given the penalty then? Why do you think the ref didn't give it?
Okay, that's what I call a TV penalty.
Explain?
Right, okay, so if you actually go and watch the Sky coverage of the game yesterday, not the BBC coverage, if you watch the Sky coverage, there's a very good window into the way that people, fans, pundits, everyone watches football now through the eyes of TV and cameras. So if you listen to the co-commentator in that game, he immediately praises the defender for taking the ball. He says, that's a great tackle. What a fantastic tackle. They then show the replay. The replay clearly shows that the defender took the man first, then made contact with the ball, therefore a penalty. He then changes his mind and goes, wow, Arsenal should have had a penalty. Yes, so looking at it again as on a replay, that's a penalty. In real time, and this is how I watch refereeing, I watch decisions, I go off my gut feeling and instinct. My gut, as it happened, was that it was not a penalty. And I can understand why the referee, just the angle that he was looking at and the way that the ball seemed to move, it looked as if the ball had been taken first. Clearly on replay, it hadn't. It was the man first, then he made contact with the ball. Actually, it's a bit of an odd visual, because if you watch it, it looks like his foot takes the ball. And then when you watch it, his foot goes nowhere near the ball. The ball actually hits his torso. After Robbie Brady has taken Bellerin. So yes, it's a penalty on a view on a TV screen. Real time, in the ground, live. I can totally understand why the referee wouldn't give it. So therefore, it's not a penalty. And that sounds odd, but it's not a penalty because the referee, in my opinion, couldn't have given another decision.
Going on to the Man City game, do you think Raheem Sterling was the penalty then?
I do. I think it was a penalty. I think there was two incidents in the build-up to that penalty. I do think it was a penalty. I thought there was enough, again, the balance, enough for it to be a foul and enough to warrant the decision. Similarly, the other way in the Chelsea-Liverpool game, there was an incident involving Coutinho and Hazard, where Hazard makes contact with Coutinho with his hip. For me, that's not a penalty. It's not enough to warrant a penalty. And this is a frustration for football fans in general. Everything is black and white these days. And this is what television has done to it. For good or for bad, television gives you 40 different angles. You can see things over and over again, and there's definitives made of that. The referee gets one view, and he has to go off what's in front of him and what he believes. And football, in general, is a game of perception. It's a game of an interpretation. So referees interpret what goes on. There's only a couple of decisions in football which are absolutes, which is a ball over the line and technically offside, even though the football authorities have done their best to try and complicate that as well. But they're the two definitives. Is a ball over the line? Is it offside? Fouls, dives, pushes, they're all a referee's interpretation. So the referee has to go off what he thinks at the time. And it's a difficult balance. And if anyone's referee, they will know that. It's a very difficult one to make that instant decision and go, yes, I think that's a penalty. Because if he's going to give a penalty, he has to be 100% certain, because the outcome of a penalty generally is a goal.
Okay, so referee, we had a Twitter question from Steve-O, who's at Footy In It, and his question was, Italian football is using VAR this season to good effect. Should we bring it in next season in the Premier League? Now, I'm an advocate for VAR. What do you think?
I'm not an advocate of VAR. I can see why people want it. I can understand it, especially with the amount of money involved in football these days at the highest level. My answer's not straightforward, unfortunately. I'm against it on several levels. Firstly, I just touched on it a few minutes ago. The referee interprets a lot of rules in football. It's not line call. So sports such as tennis, for example, where it's generally definitive because is a ball over a line. You can check that pretty easily, and you can, and it has worked with the goal line technology in football, and that's worked great. And that's where it can work, even though that has its downsides, but I'm not going to go into that. In terms of the general rules of the game, I think it will completely muddy water, because every other rule, as I've just said, is personal interpretation. So you could say, well, the video referee has the absolute decision to be made when he's seen footage of it on the TV. The problem is, one person's interpretation will be different to another person. So actually what you're not getting is the definitive answer. What you're getting is someone's opinion. And if you're going to do that and you're going to have someone's opinion, let the referee on the field of play make that decision and accept that a referee, like every other participant in a football game, can actually make a mistake. Because this is the problem. Referees are the only person on a football field where it's not tolerated in making a mistake. If a 30-40 million pound striker misses a chance, it's quickly forgotten when he scores in 5 minutes later. But a referee gives a penalty, a correct decision, and it'll be, well, that's his job. If he gets one wrong, Sky, BBC, Match of the Day, whatever, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere, fans in the pub, fans in the ground, everyone gives him pelters. So for me, I think there has to be a change of culture. I can understand why people want video referee and video technology. Personally, I'm against it because of the interpretive nature of football.
Referee!
Yes, I'll give you a card in a minute.
Has anyone called you a wanker? The referee's a wanker.
I've been called much worse than that. No, I do. It's the abuse. Referees do. It's a serious. No, referees do take a lot of abuse. And if you watch certain individual who will remain nameless, Wayne Rooney. He's very good at giving the C word to the referee, and I've never understood to this day why referees do not just brandish a red card, because it is a red card infringement.
So we've had the ref, and I think it's time for us to talk about our man of the match. What did you guys think for Burnley?
So I thought, for me, during the game, while I was watching it, it was a toss-up between Kolasinac and Sanchez. But in the end, for his sheer work rate and the fact that he buried the penalty for the winner, I went with Sanchez. I checked our poll that we ran, and I saw that 32% also gave it to Sanchez. As you know, girls probably know, I've kind of fallen out with love with Alexis because I think he's leaving us and I really don't like his attitude. But he is our best player, and I guess we should use him as much as we can. And now he's an Arsenal player for now, so I'll still support him, even though I still think he's a nearly traitor.
Nearly traitor.
A nearly traitor. He'll be a complete traitor when he goes. But, one thing.
What's a nearly traitor? What's a nearly? Are you talking like RVP, Nasri, Adib?
Oh no, they're no, they're proper traitors. They've gone in a horrible way. They effed us over, came back and were horrible every time they played against us. The Adebayors, the Nasris, the RVPs. No, they're proper traitors. Alexis isn't a traitor yet. He's a nearly traitor. When he goes, and then comes back and runs from one end of the pitch to the other after he scored a goal, which he will do, then he's a proper traitor, but he's only a nearly traitor because he hasn't gone yet.
Never, ever, ever can you say Alexis is a traitor. Oh my God, no.
Yeah, I agree with Amanda.
No way.
First podcast, I still don't like him.
I think you've got to look at our board about traitors, not him. But anyway, go on.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
I've just got one more thing to say about the game. The one thing because I watched it in depth yesterday, and I was not. It was painful. I think we've been painful to watch this season. But the thing that annoys me, one of the things that annoys me, why do the opposition fans keep chanting, same old Arsenal, always cheating? It drives me mad. We don't cheat. We should have had 2 penalties. They're lucky we only got 1. The Burnley fans need to get over it because we're not cheats. They're lucky it was only 1-0.
I wish we made more out of situations than we do. If anything, we always won the Fair Play Awards, by the way, for so long. And it was really irritating me that was what we were known for. Like, we'd always be the ones who were like, oh, hello, I'd like to shake your hand. You can take the ball, go here, go there, rather than actually make use of situations. And that goes back to diving and it goes back to the penalties, and it goes back to all the decisions that we've been talking about with the ref as well. I just feel like we never make use of situations, and that bugs me so much.
I just want to say something about that, actually, because this morning I watched the game when I got in late last night, and I really don't understand why we'd be accused of cheating, to be honest.
Yeah.
We should have had a penalty in Bellerin anyway.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise I had any Burnley followers. I didn't even realise, but I did. So I did a tweet out. I just said to everyone, why do Burnley hate us all of a sudden? And a Burnley man who was at the ground, tweeted me and said that the referee, the whole game, now bearing in mind, remember, I didn't watch the stream. I've only watched 5 minutes of highlights. The referee wanted to give us a penalty. He wanted to give us the whole game. And I went, well, if he did, why didn't he give us Bellerin's penalty? You know what? I said to him, were you as annoyed with Ramsey as you were your own defender? Because if my defender did that in the 92nd minute and put his hands over someone's back in the penalty area where the referee, you're going to make the referee make a decision, I'd be going ballistic if that was Mustafi or Monreal or Koscielny. But they're blaming Ramsey. So it was really interesting, the conversation. And then he poo-pooed me because I wasn't at the match. And yeah, I know, you know what they're like. But what was really interesting was a lot of people joined on the thread, and obviously I've been so busy all day I couldn't even get onto it. But it was really interesting. They absolutely hate us.
Here's the thing. I agree, Amanda, and I think you bring up a great point, because today on radio and in the media. We've been absolutely ripped to shreds. And I believe our good old friend, Mr. Durham over at TalkSport said that, Ramsey or Arsenal Football Club should apologise to Burnley. Should we rack up how many decisions have gone for Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham over the last couple of years, let's call it, right? And the minute we get a bit of the rub of the green, because let's face it, we really haven't had much luck of late. And I think that the way the media use us as clickbait is really starting to piss me off. Number one, we should pat ourselves on the back because people want to read about us. They're entertained, but it's in a wrong way. It's like with a dartboard. We're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. We can't win ugly, they say. Then we win ugly 2 freaking weeks in a row, or however many times this season, and we're still, good old Arsenal. They do X, Y, and Z wrong and all that. And it just drives me crazy because I think that finally we're finding ways to win. In the past, that game would have been a game we would have lost maybe. And we're grinding out results. So now we're grinding out results. We're still shit. And it really pisses me off.
It's really interesting you say that, Sophie, because one of our Twitter questions tonight, which was given to us by Tony at Tony, it really is something to do with the media. She's put, on a scale of 1 to Spurs, how poor is the current media situation against Arsenal? I mean, I've never known this before, to be honest. Sophia, what do you think?
See, I think it's to do with the fact that we've got a massive social media presence. There's the running joke about the fact that when any kind of polls are done, when any kind of competitions are run, and it's a Twitter vote, Arsenal fans vote in their thousands, and we always win. It's why Match of the Day stopped doing it on Twitter, the goal of the month and all that, because we'd all go on, we'd all tweet to each other, and we'd go on and win. And an Arsenal player would always more or less win. And I think we've garnered such a massive following that the media now, at first I think they thought they could use us, but with the teacup gate, and they realised that they can't. It doesn't always work for them, and so they've kind of turned. It was a good thing at first, and now it's turned. I don't like to be associated with certain online presence regarding Arsenal, but other people do. And if you're going to take the good, then you have to take the rough too. And if you write so many clickbait articles and we click and we don't like what we see, we're going to let you know that, and you just have to deal with it.
Okay. Sophie, do you agree with Sophia on that? Or do you think that because of this social media presence we have, and we do win lots of polls, don't we, on Match of the Day and stuff like that, do you think that has got something to do with it?
No, I don't. I think that people love to see our club miserable. It's become a thing now. They get off on it. Yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
They can't wait to watch the online stuff. They can't wait to throw darts at us. And a little bit about what I was saying just before Amanda brought up this point is that it's become a situation where we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't. Yeah. And I think that it's really, and I think it's reached this crescendo now that Tottenham have become pretty decent over the last 2 years. And I think people really get off on that. They want us to crumble. They want Tottenham to win the league. They want to see us humiliated. They really do. And I don't like that Arsenal have become, the pinata for everybody else. Why not focus on Jose Mourinho and how, he's won 2 trophies last year, but how crap are Man United? What is he doing with all those players? How has he destroyed Mkhitaryan? I mean, why don't we look a little bit about what's going on at Chelsea? Some of the choices made by Conte this weekend, and Klopp dropping Mane and Firmino. Why is it always, in the words of Mario Balotelli, why always me?
Well, do you not think, though, that I don't really care what they say about us? I think we can. I don't care. Why do you care what anyone thinks? I think that in life generally. But I mean, all right, we've got one more Twitter question. Okay. And I'm going to put this to you all because I think we're all going to have a different, view on this. Nikki Wilson at Nikki G. Wilson. Thanks, Nikki. What, according to you, is a dive in football? Sophia.
Okay, so to me, a dive in football is when an attacker is running towards trying to go for a goal, is running with the ball. A defender comes in, tries to get the ball, gets the ball, but the attacker still flops like he's going for a dive of, epic proportions, and you can tell he hasn't been touched, because I think the ones that you can tell are a dive, they totally over exaggerate, and they roll around on the floor. To me, when you haven't dived, you drop and you don't move. When it's a painful foul, you can tell the difference. Too many players, shall I say, not people, too many players go down too easily. I know I talk about the good old days and, back in our day, people will get fouled. I mean, you look at Maradona. When Maradona used to play, he got kicked the shit out of. If he played in football today, he would get fouled. He would get free kicks left, right and centre. And players that play today, who, if they had to be sent back in time to play then, oh my God, they'd be like, send me back to the future, quick time.
I think it's also about actually being smart as well. Some players know when to go down, and this is why we always look at, Spanish league, and we see so many players we see so many penalties, we see so many players that go down, but it's also because they actually know how to, they're smart enough to know that we can actually fall now, or this is too much of a dive. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a game at Tottenham in the Europa League. I can't remember. I think it was Dnipro or something. And it was Vertonghen, and he just slapped a guy, and then he ended up falling down instead. To me, that's a plain dive because he committed the foul and then he fell just to kind of divert attention away. But then you see players like Theo Walcott. Remember Newcastle? The Newcastle game, he ended up scoring the goal, but he could have easily gotten a penalty out of it.
That's true.
So it's also just about being smart enough to know when you can go down and when you shouldn't go down. And some players are just not smart enough to make that decision correctly, and it is just a blatant dive.
It's really sad though, isn't it, that the whole penalty situation and going down has become it's like the professional foul, right? Yeah. Someone's going through, you got to take him down. Otherwise you risk losing a goal, could mean losing the game. There's so much at stake now in football. So I think there are blurred lines between professionally going down and cheating. Yeah. And I do think we've seen cheating. We've seen cheating from Marcus Rashford this year. We've seen cheating from Raheem Sterling. And because of the popularity of La Liga, and I say this with so much respect, the English game never used to be that. And I'm not pointing the finger at other leagues. The truth is that a lot of that was accepted more at international level. And since the Champions League has become super successful and super powerful, and we've seen more and more of it over the last 20 odd years, it has slowly crept into our game to now where it's actually becoming a pandemic in the English game, and it has been something that some South American players they don't think twice about it. They're like, you know what? That's it. Yeah, I did it. Yep. And it's part of the game to them. Whereas for some players, it might be that they consider it cheating. And I think that's the issue that we have today in the game.
Yeah. I feel like this has been such a, big topic in the past couple of days, and I feel like we need to take a break from performances for a while. So we would like to introduce Sophie's non-Arsenal topic of the week. Sophie, we are lucky enough to actually listen to Sophie on a daily basis, where she shares a lot of fun insights and keeps us grounded. So we thought we'd share that with everyone by sharing Sophie's topic of the week.
Well, that was a huge compliment, by the way. Who paid you for that? Not me. Amanda may have paid forward the £10 I gave her last week for the compliment that she gave me. Okay, so I have a question for you guys, and I think it fits into today's narrative on the show, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes teams are just sensational and brilliant, and they deserve all the accolades. We can go back to, the total football Ajax created, to Pep's Barcelona, to Fabio Capello's AC Milan. We can go to Manchester United back in the day, and obviously under Sir Alex Ferguson, the Bayern Munich eras. There are just some teams that are brilliant. But I also think that at some point in a season, and maybe in the last 2 weeks, we've finally seen a little bit of that. It's luck. I think luck plays a huge part, not only in football, but also in life. Sometimes you get a job because you deserved it. Sometimes you may get a job because you were just lucky, right? And I think that when you look at, for example, the Huddersfield goal, it was luck. It came off Otamendi's shoulder, right? They got lucky. But I also think City got lucky in that game. And I had a lot of City players, fans, tweet me because I made a comment that they're sensational, but they had luck. And I think luck plays a huge part. Diego Maradona, the hand of God. Had he not done that, would England have won the World Cup? Could they have won the World Cup? Brilliant player, sensational, completely amazing. But he did something that was cheating. That was blatant cheating. But I do think luck goes a long way. And I just think part of our problem over the last couple of seasons has been that we haven't had much luck. What are your thoughts on luck versus just being great? Am I overthinking it? Am I overplaying it? And should I go back and apologise to the Man City fans that I pissed off at the weekend?
No, I don't think.
You pissed them off of the poll.
But I don't see. I agree with you. I think you create your own luck. I mean, I still think, you think about the fact that we went unbeaten for a season. Now you think about that game against Man U when the RVP got the penalty. They could have easily scored and he missed. And I still think that was our luck kicking in on that day. Mm-hmm. And because how different would that season have been if we'd have scored that goal and they'd have gone on to win, because they would have done, because we were down to 10 men as well. And I do think sometimes it's good to be lucky, and it's kind of something you create, I think, as you go along. And when you're building up a head of steam, it happens, because there's loads of times when that, especially that season, that we could have lost, but we didn't, because we had the belief, but we also had luck on our side.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we can look at, for example, Chelsea last season. Sorry, Amanda. Chelsea last season, they started off they didn't start off well at all. And then we started saying, of course, Chelsea are going to score last minute goals. And then from that, because they were quite lucky, and they won ugly a lot of the time before they actually went on that really amazing run. And then that actually determined the rest of their season. So yeah, of course, sometimes it takes that one piece of luck, if you want to call it, and that can actually determine the rest of your career, season, whatever you want to call it. Like if you do one thing that actually helps enhance you, that is lucky, it plays a lot with motivation, with how you move forward with everything else that you're doing. So I think luck, it sometimes is a matter of how you actually make your luck, but sometimes it's actually just lucky, and that's what determines the rest of your time, game, life, whatever you want to call it.
I just think, though, I'm a little bit different to you girls. I think, yeah, you do make your own luck, but I do think luck plays a massive part. I've always sit there at the games and go, look at that, the ball's falling for us. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get the rub of the green. Sometimes it's just your day. If Bergkamp would have scored the penalty against United in the semi-final, they wouldn't have won the treble. They would not have won the treble. So I'm not being funny. I believe in fate. I don't believe in coincidence. I think things meant to happen for a reason. And I also believe, one of the things that sticks out for me is, do you remember Kieran Gibbs sticking out his leg against West Brom?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If he wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't have got fourth. End of story. They would have scored Most probably, if you understand what I mean.
But is that luck or is that him actually?
But it doesn't matter, Seema. It's not luck, but I just think things are meant to happen for a reason in that respect. If he didn't stick that leg out and the ball skimmed him or whatever, we made our own luck there. But sometimes the ball, look at yesterday as Sophie was saying about Otamendi. Look at sometimes ball hits the post, comes out, hits the goalkeeper on the head and goes in. You know, every team can sit there, every set of fans, and this is why the media does my head in, right? Mm. Everyone thinks they're hard done by. Everyone thinks that you're lucky. Everyone thinks this. We all have a certain amount of luck all year. I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. It's not just a proportion to our club. We weren't lucky at Burnley yesterday. I'm sorry. They were facts. They were penalties. Even the ref said they were penalties. So I just think that, yes, you do make your own luck, but sometimes being lucky is good. You know, sometimes when as I said to you before, you go for a shot, it deflects in the goal. That's luck. You know, I think it's made a bit too much of. That's my point.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my God, I thought we were going to be taking a break from football. We ended up talking purely football.
Yeah, well, I had to bring it up, didn't I? Well, sorry.
Well, I'm actually going to take a break from football right now. I'm going to talk social media. If you have listened to our last podcast, we had a little segment on social media and we'd like to bring it back. And I would like to start with mentioning, first and foremost, one of our very own was mentioned in the Tuesday Club last week, Sophia, aka Sophire, on Twitter. Check it out and listen.
But do you remember who we met? Sophia, the lovely girl for Arsenal fan who we met. Keith, there's a black girl that we met at the Arsenal 89 match.
Oh yes, yeah.
A girl called Sophia. She calls herself Sophia on Twitter.
Yes, very lovely woman.
And Keith was like,
we liked her.
Keith was like, it was you, wasn't it?
It was
you.
It was
you back in '98.
It was her.
Who I kissed. It wasn't Keith.
It wasn't. It was
Keith. It was me. We've done that.
I always listen to the Tuesday Club, and I didn't even know they had a pod out until someone mentioned it on Twitter. And I didn't even know Sophia was mentioned on it. So I'm listening because me and Sophia love them. Honestly, I cry when I listen.
It's the best.
It is like, isn't it? It's like listening to a comedy show.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm crying with them. All of a sudden, I'm eating my breakfast. And they start talking about Sophia, and I went, Sophia? Oh my God, she's got a mention on that. I was so proud, like a proud sister. Oh. And I rewound it back to listen to the context. And they all loved you, didn't they? They all said that lovely girl, Sophia. So our girl got a mention on the Tuesday Club. Very proud.
Yeah,
that's because she's just so super cool. Like, she's beyond super cool. She'll be too super cool for us soon.
Oh, don't
but
be
I
silly.
do want to know what you were having for breakfast. What were you having for breakfast?
Very healthy. Very healthy.
Right,
okay.
Right.
I eat healthy breakfast. It looks like a rabbit food, but yeah.
Sophia, are they sending you royalties yet? The Tuesday Club?
Well, I've already told them that they either send me royalties or I'm going on their podcast as well.
Oh my God. Yeah, you've got to. You won't say anything. You'll just laugh the whole time.
Oh my God. It was so weird because I kept every night, like, I didn't know they even mentioned me either. And then I kept getting tweets from people going, oh, did you hear your shout out? I'm like, my shout out on what? And they were like, on the Tuesday Club. I'm like, you are kidding me. And I was and usually I save it for the gym, but I just had to listen. And I must admit, I felt so privileged. But anyway, I'm done. That's me blowing my own trumpet. I won't do it again. I'm done.
Okay, so we'd also like to mention we'd like to give a shout out to our 500 follower because we promised this, and Amanda was speaking to at Andrew V9182 on Twitter, and he was our 500 follower. We've surpassed that now, but he is a Gooner of 30 years, and he was at White Hart Lane when we won the league. He's a former travel club member, followed the team around the country in the Invincible days. So he definitely deserves a special shout out. And well
Well done, Andrew.
Well done, Andrew.
And of course, we brought back Hector Bellerin. He's back on with another post. Last week we mentioned him as well, so this week we're mentioning him again. He tweeted, "Last minute winner, ? Some would say we have Cologne. Come on, you Gooners." And this was a dig at Troy Deeney. I think he had tweeted something or said or he was in an interview where he said something along the lines of, "I could whack one in easily with Arsenal. That would be the mind frame when I go play against Arsenal." And this is actually quite a controversial thing to say, but with the last minute goal, I think Bellerin felt like it was perfect to actually tweet that out to him as well.
I love that he did that.
Yeah, me too.
I love that he did that, because that's the other thing they say about us, that we got no balls. You know what I'm saying, man? We got no cojones. But I do think that we have plenty of them, and we're showing them a little bit more this year. And I think that, you know, we've seen a little different side to the team. We've had the best November we've had in the last few seasons. So I love that Bellerin did that, because you know what? If you're going to go on Match of the Day, mate, and you're going to say what you said, then you've got to be prepared for a rebuttal. Next time he's on, Sophia, maybe you could just, you know, dabble with his script a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I would if he was on Match of the Day, but he wasn't on Match of the Day. He was on...
Uh-oh.
He was on BT Sport, which I also... Well, you did ask, but to be honest, I mean, I love the fact that he's disappeared without a trace now. And since he made that crap, you know, the following week he tried to show that he had cojones and he's been banned, and quite right too. But we do have it, and I just wish we'd show it a lot more often. We don't do it enough. That's the thing that bothers me, you know?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm becoming a pessimist with Arsenal lately, but the past 2 seasons, I honestly feel like it can easily go either way. We would easily be that team that just goes in. I don't know if it's right to say this, but I feel like we're almost like Everton or Liverpool or any other club where we're playing, we might win, we might lose, we don't really know, we don't really, like, honestly, every time someone tells me, give us a prediction, I'm always like, yeah, we're going to win. But deep down, I don't know anymore. And that's the thing that really freaks me out. So I don't know if he's maybe a little bit right, Troy Deeney. So I don't know if obviously everyone knows who Prince Harry is marrying right now. Rachel Zane from Suits.
What a lucky girl she is, eh? Did she fall under a lucky star, or is that the kind of world you just wouldn't want to be in?
She fell in love, Sophie. Love. Okay? That's why I choose to believe she's found her prince.
Literally.
I feel like she's being on mic.
Do you think she kissed frogs then? Because she did eventually get to her prince. Priest, that would have been interesting. So I'm happy. Happy news. I love it. Another royal wedding that, you know, British taxpayers will pay for, but happily, because what else is there to be happy about?
Are they going to live here or in America? I was thinking that.
I'd divide my time. That's the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves Africa, though. She's going to be spending a lot of time there, which who wouldn't want to spend more time in Africa? Right then, there's a reason I'm presenting Snog, Marry, Avoid this week. It's because when we presented these 3 options to Amanda, she passed out, hit her head, and had to come to, because she was like, there's no way, I can't even pick. I can't believe you're doing this to me and the Gooner Nation. Well, we are doing it. It's a bit of a Legends Snog, Marry, and Avoid. And I tell you, it's going to be like Sophie's choice. Which of my children do you want? Take my daughter. You know, so be prepared. Be prepared for this. Amanda, I'm going to make you go last because you need to breathe a little bit. Breathe. Right, Seema. Snog, Marry,
I told
Avoid.
you not to put me first.
Oh, wait. Right. Thierry Henry, Ian Wright, Dennis Bergkamp.
Oh, God. I just know who I want to marry, but I don't know who I want to snog or avoid. Can I just marry someone and then have them have the rest of my children?
Go for it.
Choice. That's what kind of life you want to live.
No, you have to snog, marry, avoid. Come on.
Otherwise,
be
you're
tough.
out. Otherwise, you're disqualified from the game.
I will definitely, no doubt, marry Dennis Bergkamp.
Okay.
That's a given. The other two are confusing. I think I would snog Thierry Henry. I do love Ian Wright, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to avoid him. I'd like him to be there.
You know I'm going to tell him that.
When I get married.
You know I'm going to tell him you're avoiding him.
No. Okay, I'll
Fire.
Too late, Seema, you've done. You're done.
You're done. You're out, Seema. You're done. You're toast.
Okay.
Sophia.
So me, I'm going to snog Dennis Bergkamp. I'm going to marry Ian Wright, and I'm going to avoid Thierry Henry. Just because Thierry, I loved him when he played, but since he's left, I'm not convinced. And I think I'd have much more fun with Wrighty being married to him. And I think Dennis has produced how many kids? I think he's probably good at snogging. So yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Hilarious. Okay, that's a good one. So before Amanda goes, I'm going to say I'm going to snog. I'm going to marry Dennis Bergkamp. I'm going to snog Ian Wright because that will be so much fun. Like, it would just be the best snogathon ever in the history of snogging. And I have a pretty good, I don't know, I mean, he looks like he'd be a good kisser. And then I'm going to avoid Thierry Henry. And the only reason I'm going to avoid him is because I just can't look at something that beautiful every day and have it stand next to me. All right?
Amanda?
I'm not answering.
What?
Oh, really? You made me answer.
Yeah, exactly.
These are three of my heroes, and you want me to diss one of them.
Wait, so they're not our heroes?
No, they're my era. They're not your era.
Yes, excuse me. What's the difference in age group?
Oh.
They are my era. No matter what crappy excuse you come up with, it's not good enough. Snog, marry, avoid. Do it.
Fucking hell.
We're not going to do that.
Well, I'm definitely marrying Ian Wright because he is my man. End of story. And we just sit and have fun the whole of our lives. Oh God, I have to snog one of the best players that's ever graced our pitch. That would be Dennis Bergkamp, and I'd have to. I can't say the word. I'd have to sort of leave out Thierry Henry because I don't know, because I think he's French and I love the French. I can't even think of a reason. No, I'm not answering. I'm refusing. I'm having a tantrum.
You'll be disqualified from next week's Snog, Marry, Avoid if you do not answer.
Exactly.
I'm actually really, 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 promise you, I'm really struggling. So Thierry I'm avoiding because he went and played for Barcelona. I don't know.
So just to reaffirm.
No, you don't need to reaffirm. Move on. Thank you. I'm struggling.
Okay. So just to put Amanda out of her misery, we're going to move on, and we're going to move on to my weekly game of How May I Assist You, which kind of went okay last week.
Can I just say that the leaderboard, I'm on top of the leaderboard right now.
All right, love. Let's dial it back.
Out of one.
I think
you're like a Tottenham fan. You are one.
I think she's making the most of it now. So she can quit while she's ahead. But anyway. So I'll just reiterate the kind of rules of the game, just in case you've forgotten. So I'm going to give you the name of the goal scorer, and you have to tell me who supplied the assist. I'll give you a first clue. You're not allowed to Google the answers. When you think you know the answer, say stop, and I'll say whoever's name it is who said stop. You give me an answer. If you get it wrong, one of the girls can say stop, and I'll get an answer from them. If all of you get it wrong, I'll move on to the next clue. Got it?
Got
it, sister.
Okay. So I'm going back 20 years to the 1997-98 double winning season.
Okay, now. I only know the 80s or now.
Oh my God. So So what happened to your 90s?
What did you do in 97?
Yeah.
What did you do in the 90s?
I was married.
Oh.
Enough said.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay then.
Right, moving on.
Let's move on.
Swiftly.
Very swiftly. On October the 4th, 1997, Arsenal beat Barnsley 5-0 at Highbury, with Ian Wright scoring the 5th and final goal. But what I want to know is who provided the assist. Here's your first clue. He was born on the 11th of December, 1963.
11th of December.
11th of December, 1963.
God, I wish I had this already.
Do you want me to move on to the next clue?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. His second club was Oxford United, but he never played for the first team.
Stop.
Sophie.
David Platt.
No. Anyone
Keep
else?
going.
Anyone else want to jump in?
I so want to Google.
No, you
Go on.
cannot
Me
Google.
too. I want to Google right now.
I'm not Googling. Go on.
Okay, next clue. He was voted number 32 in Arsenal's poll of greatest ever players.
97.
32!
No, 97. I'm saying the year.
Yeah, okay, the year when they...
Okay, stop.
Amanda.
Oh, no, it's wrong. It's
Go
not.
on, go for
I
it.
was going to say Ray Parlour.
No, it's not.
No, he didn't play.
Any of the other girls want to have a guess?
Where's he from? Oh, sorry. We need to wait for the...
Okay, next clue. He only represented England twice.
Stop.
Sophie.
Nigel Winterburn.
Well done, Sophie.
Oh, my God. I would never have got that.
Right, so the other two clues were he scored 2 memorable screamers against Norwich and Chelsea, and the last clue was his nickname was Nutty, and the answer is Nigel Winterburn. Well done, Sophie.
Night.
Oh
my
top of the league. You
God.
said, I am top of the league. Oh, no, I'm not.
No, you're not.
You're close to the top of the league.
You're drawing first. No, I'm bottom. It's going
You're
well, isn't
officially
it?
Everton.
I love that. So it's 1-1 in the How May I Assist You leaderboard.
I'm not happy about that at all. So I will move quickly to predictions. Arsenal, Huddersfield, and Arsenal, Manchester United. Sophie.
Huddersfield. God, they're good. They're really organised. Anyway, I'm going to say a draw against Huddersfield. They like to play against the big clubs. And I tell you, Amanda talked about it earlier, and we 3 of us felt it before the Tottenham game. Something about that Man United game. I just fancy us. I really fancy us. 3-1.
I hope so. Amanda?
Huddersfield will win 2-1. Man United will win 2-1.
Wow.
Both. Yeah, both 2-1s.
God,
So-
Sophia, I really hope you're positive.
Yes, I am.
No, she'll
Wait
go
a
for a
minute.
draw.
Wait a minute. Can we not go there, please? Thank you very much. Anyway, I actually think that we will beat Huddersfield, and I think we'll keep a clean sheet as well. I think we'll win 2-0, because we've got a great home record. And I also have a feeling we're going to beat Man U as well, which is, I hate saying that because I always feel like I'm jinxing it. But I do think we'll win, and I think we won't keep a clean sheet, but I also think we'll win 2-1. So there you go.
Oh, God, I don't know what I'm predicting anymore. I feel like, yeah, Huddersfield we will win, but I think it's just going to be a 1-0. It's going to be a very boring game. But Manchester United, I can't say anything but a win right now. So I am hoping for a 2-0 for Manchester United. So thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, girls. It's been amazing as always. Please follow our social media handles, Twitter, Highbury Heels, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Highbury and Heels. And as Amanda says,
Always Arsenal.
bye.